Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is James Salvatore, and today I have the 2020 Mercedes C300 four-door here for you. And in today's video, I'm going to review it and share my thoughts on it with you. But before we get into things, be sure to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm because it really helps to promote the videos. And then be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notification to be alerted when I post future videos. On the channel, I do everything from new car reviews, new car comparisons, classics, exotics. I like to have fun, so be sure to stick around because you won't want to miss out. And with that, cue the cinematics. Buying the C-Class from this generation for the first time, this is all going to be new to you. But for those of you who are coming off a 3-year lease and you're wondering what's changed, don't click off yet because there actually has been some significant changes in the facelift that happened last year, and I'm going to go over them with you. First, let's start off at the front end because if you take a look here, you can notice that they slightly redesigned the front bumper. However, the most obvious change are the headlights. These are the high performance ones, so these were like the standard ones you got before with the two like eyeball looking things. But they've made it now kind of like more aggressive, more like shark-like. I like it, but there's another option available. You have the active LED system with active LED cornering lights and active high beams, which automatically dim when you have oncoming traffic coming towards you. Underneath the hood of this car, you'll find a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder putting out 255 horsepower and 273 foot-pounds of torque. It's a pretty good amount of power for a car this size, and it's all mated to an automatic 9-speed transmission, which is very good. I've actually lived with this car for a few years now. This isn't my personal car, but it's pretty much the same deal that I have in my 2018, and it's a fair amount of power for this size. And it gets very good fuel economy, most importantly. Let's take a look at the inside now because that's where you're going to see the most changes in this car. When you get in here, the first thing that you notice is that you get Mercedes' new steering wheel, which is very nice. I like the flat bottom look. It feels really good in the hand. I like it. And now you have the 2 touchpads, which control various functions of the car. So the left touchpad controls the driver's information center, and the right touchpad controls the infotainment system, which comes standard with Apple CarPlay, which is definitely a nice feature to have. Some of these newer cars have the digital dash, but this one doesn't. But if it did, this whole entire gauge cluster would be a screen. However, you don't lose any functionality by not having the screen. That's what a lot of people think, but it's really just purely for the look and being able to customize the gauges. But this center screen here really gives you all the same information you'd see on that anyways. And now with the infotainment system, they've completely revised it. It's a widescreen configuration now, which is much better than what was in it before. Yeah, unfortunately, this isn't an MBUX car, but that's not necessarily the end of the world. MBUX is really nice. I really like it, but let's be honest here. Most of you people are going to use Apple CarPlay anyways. But it would have been nice to have that virtual assistant. It does work very well in the cars I've tested it in, but for some reason the E-Class, the S-Class, and the AMG GTs just simply don't have it. But as long as you have CarPlay, you're fine. But let me show you what you could do with this system. If you take a look here on the steering wheel, you have the touchpad, which is your first way to interact with it. Without the MBUX, it's not a touchscreen, so don't even bother putting your fingers on that. Now let's move down to here because you have the old school rotary wheel, and then you have the touchpad here, which you could use to control it too. So you have a variety of ways to control this. It's a pretty good system. You know, if you hit the home button and you go around, you can see that you have pretty much everything you need here. You can set up your favorites and whatnot. The map is nice and clear and easy to read. It's responsive, it's quick. To use Apple CarPlay, all you do is plug your phone in down here and you're all set. It'll just pop up on the screen. And then in vehicles with the NFC charging, which is the wireless charging that you'll find down here, the Apple CarPlay connection will be over here. This car also has some really cool tech in it. If you take a look down here and you hit the surround view camera system, you could see it has the ability to park itself. It will literally scan for parking spaces if you drive forward. Now, if you're new to the car, you may not know about these features, but you have the dynamic mode selector right here, where if you cycle through the modes, you have Sport, Sport Plus, Individual, where you could custom tailor your own driving settings, which is pretty cool. So you could custom tailor if you say want to be in manual mode, full manual mode all the time. You want your steering to be just like Comfort, and you can also control your stability control level depending on what you choose. Now there's a few other adjustments too. Now there's ambient lights that run throughout the whole cabin, and how you access them is you go to the vehicle settings, you go to light settings, you go to ambient light, and then you could set the brightness from front to rear, and you can see where the LED zones are. I can't really demonstrate it right now because it's a little too bright out, but if you scroll over to the right here, you have 64 different colors available, which is really cool. All right, now let's talk about how practical this car is, because chances are if you're buying the 4-door, you want to be able to fit people in it. So let's hop into the back and see how it does on rear legroom. Well, when it comes to headroom right off the bat, I'm 6'1" and my head's almost touching the ceiling, so just keep that in mind. It's not bad by any means, but you know, if you're 6'3", 6'4", you're probably not going to fit back here. And if you take a look at my knees here, I got a decent amount of room before the front seat here, which is nice. All right, now let's move around to the rear and see how it does on rear cargo space. So there's a few different ways you can get into the trunk with this car. You could wave your foot underneath it for the comfort access feature, or you could just simply use the handle right underneath the star. I like it better just using the handle, just because to me, in my opinion, it's just quicker. But if you're coming up to the car with groceries or something, I guess the comfort access feature could be useful. Now, back here you have 12.6 cubic feet of cargo storage with the seats up, but if that's not enough for you, you could always just pull the handle right here, and you walk up here and you can put the seats down. Really, really simple. And one thing that I like that Mercedes does is when you pull the handle, the front seat up here will actually move up just enough for you to be able to put the seat down. You notice it just goes right down, nice and easy, no questions asked. Coming from the standpoint of owning a C300 now for 3 years now, I could confidently say that I recommend this car to you if you're looking for something that's focused primarily on luxury and efficiency. I mean, this car gets great gas mileage around town. It's a great daily driver because, you know, you could still have fun with it on a back road, yes, but you know, that you could tell it's not its primary purpose. But you could also get around in the winter time, no problem at all, provided you put snow tires on the car. I mean, it's great. I've driven it in snowstorms of almost a foot and it just goes right through it confidently. However, for those of you that are enthusiasts and you're wondering if, you know, having this car, you know, with its good looks is enough, I'm going to recommend that you go for the C43 AMG because, in my opinion, it strikes the perfect balance between luxury and performance. I mean, with that twin turbocharged straight six, it sounds amazing. And with the all-wheel drive, you're not losing any of the practicality that you get with this car that you lose with the C63 with the rear drive. Well, that's all for today's video. I hope it helped you in making your purchase decision. If you haven't done so yet, be sure to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notification because you won't want to miss out on next week's comparison video where I compare all the C-Class models in the entire lineup. But before we go, I'd like to say a special thanks to my friends at Mercedes Benz Fairfield for making this video possible. They got a lot of unique and interesting AMG cars in their inventory, so be sure to check them out. I'm going to include a link in my description below so you could do so. And with that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next video.